Everybody, it's Matt here, your local friendly neighbourhood vestibular migraine sufferer. So as promised, I am delivering a follow-up video to my first video, which was how I felt after I'd had the little prick for the virus of unknown origin. So again, I'm going to be talking a little bit of code because YouTube apparently hunts down videos that are about the virus of unknown origin and is rather taking it upon itself to treat that as fake news and deleting the content, which is very nice of them. So much for free speech. So if you recall in my last video, after prick number 1, I felt pretty much fine vestibular wise. I didn't experience any vestibular symptoms that, familiar with vestibular disorders or vestibular migraine. The only notable symptom I really had at the time was that I felt quite tired. So I remember the Friday after I'd had the little prick, I fell asleep on the sofa for the first time in a long time, so I felt like a proper old man. But there was something quite nice about nodding off on the sofa. So I was tired for a couple of days, and then the only kind of symptom I noticed in the weeks after that was I felt like my IBS, my bowel had kind of stirred up a little bit because I'd worked quite hard to get on top of that through changing my diet a little bit, and then it flared up again. And that makes sense to me because I suppose if you've had a false virus put into your body, which is the prick, that can cause inflammation. So it makes sense it probably inflamed things a little bit in the old bowel nether regions. And as some of you, if you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I think the bowel was the initial trigger point for the upset caused to my body that eventually resulted in a vestibular episode. So, and then that was absolutely fine. And then I had prick number 2, probably, it must be about 3 to 4 weeks ago now, maybe it's probably 4 weeks now. And after that, again, I felt absolutely fine. I didn't feel as tired actually. And the only thing I noticed was a little bit again of a flare up of the old nether regions, the bowels. So again, probably makes sense because, gonna said it then, didn't I? Let me delete that. Probably makes sense because a prick is gonna potentially cause that. So so I just wanted to pass on my experience. I know there are people out there who maybe have had a poor reaction to the prick. Really sorry to hear that. If you have, that's crap. And I know some vestibular sufferers, disorder or migraine, are a bit reluctant to take the prick, and that's totally understandable because we don't want to do anything that makes our vestibular stuff worse or sets us back, to a poorer condition as to, if we've improved. So I just want to pass on my experience and that it hasn't been a negative one for the vestibular side of things. So I apologise, I've not done any videos for the last couple of months. I've been really busy and I just have not really had time to do it. So I have got a couple of ones planned. There's one I want to do which is actually on location. It's actually going to be around the theme of how you deal with your vestibular symptoms at that stage when you're trying to get back to the world, so when you're trying to go to the pub or the supermarket. So I want to do a few on location, but obviously the seemingly never-ending lockdown. It's the never-ending lockdown. Anyway, that stopped me from doing that, but I have got something planned. So hopefully I'll be able to do that in a couple of months, within the next couple of months, and get that live for you. There's a couple of the subjects I want to cover. I'll probably do maybe in a kind of combined video. So I want to talk about a weird symptom I seem to get. I remember getting this at the time, and I've never really spoken about it before, but I remember getting it at the time when I had my first episode, and I do occasionally notice it if I'm feeling a little bit vestibular, up to the modern day, and it's where my speech seems to become a bit affected. It's weird, and it's almost like I'm struggling to get my words out, although people say I don't sound like I am. It's a weird one. So I want to touch on that in a video, and I also want to talk about the effect of the seasons on the vestibular disorders. So I know myself and a vestibular pal of mine have noted that actually when the light change, so when you move from sort of winter to spring, and then the other side of that as well, from summer to autumn, in those sort of few weeks where you're just adjusting, they seem to provoke some vestibular symptoms in some people. So I know that in those times occasionally I'll feel a bit more photophobic and, you know, notice a bit more derealization. So I'm gonna perhaps just have do a video on those two things. I might do them together because they're kind of both sort of quite weird symptoms. So maybe I'll do one that's a bit like Louis Theroux's Weird Weekends. So you know, the Blunt Yorkshireman's Weird Weekends. So there we go. So you may have noticed a slight change of angle. I'm just trying recording with the phone horizontal as opposed to vertical, just to see how that goes. So you can see a bit more on my can't get my words out, can I? I can see a bit more on my shelves that have some endless CDs, because you can see my keyboard and some customized action figures behind me. I am a geek, I don't care, and I'm happy to admit it, and too old to really give a shit about what people think about geekiness. So hope you find that useful. I hope that puts some minds at rest for people who maybe are thinking about getting the prick and are not sure they should. Again, no, it's your decision. This is just my experience, and I'm just passing it on in case it helps you make that decision and bring some reassurance. So I'll leave it there for today. Watch out for the live, well, on location videos that I'm hoping to do in the next couple of months. They'll go live as soon as I've done them. So all the best, everybody, and remember, as you were, you'll be again. See you later.